If the cards fall a certain way in June, Vancouver could walk into the draft with the best lottery odds in hockey, another first-rounder from Minnesota, and a chance to do the one thing this franchise is always going to be tied to: drafting twins. That's the easy headline. The better part is that Marcus and Liam Rock have already given people a reason to care before anybody starts dragging the Sedins into it. They're identical twins from Osoyoos, British Columbia, born 8 minutes apart, drafted by the same WHL team, put on the same line. By the end of the 2025-26 regular season, they were first and second in WHL scoring for Medicine Hat. Marcus won the league scoring title with 108 points. Liam finished right behind him with 104. Vancouver fans have seen this movie before, or at least a version of it, and now the Canucks actually have the draft capital to make the comparison feel a little less silly. Reuters had Vancouver holding the best odds for the 2026 lottery at 18.5%. The club also owns Minnesota's first-round pick from the Quinn Hughes trade. Nothing about that guarantees the Rucks end up there. It just makes the conversation feel real enough that people are going to keep having it. The Twins part is what grabs people first. It's also the part that can get in the way if you're not careful. Hockey has a habit of flattening stories like this. Two brothers, same face, same team, same line. That's enough for a headline. The actual reason this matters is simpler. They can both really play. Hockey Canada did a feature on them during the 2024 Winter Youth Olympics, and the picture it painted was pretty much what you'd expect. They'd been together from the start. Same teams, same rooms, same rink, same routines. Osoyoos to South Okanagan minor hockey, then up the ladder together. That doesn't automatically make them special. Plenty of brothers grow up like that. The difference here is that the chemistry stayed useful even when the level got harder. It didn't disappear once everybody got faster and smarter. If anything, it got more obvious. Their youth numbers already showed the split between them. Liam was the scorer. Marcus was the one moving things around. Medicine Hat's own draft release had Liam leading the CSSHL U15 regular season in scoring with 90 points in 27 games, including 53 goals. Elite Prospects has their CSSHL totals laid out cleanly. Liam finished with 2 U15 seasons with 124 points. Marcus had 119. The shape of those points matters more than the total. Liam had more goals. Marcus piled up 90 assists across 2 years. That divide followed them all the way into the WHL. Medicine Hat took Liam 9th overall in the 2023 WHL Prospects Draft. Marcus lasted to 21st. That tells you how teams saw them at the time. Liam's game is easier to sell in a draft room because goals are easier to imagine at the next level than playmaking, unless the center is already huge or already impossible to ignore. Marcus took a little longer to get the same kind of attention. Medicine Hat didn't overthink it. The Tigers took both and signed both later that month. Same organization, same timeline. Then they let the thing grow on its own. Their first WHL season was good. Not loud yet, just good. Liam had 25 goals and 41 points in 61 games in 2024-25. He led WHL rookies in goals. The team and league both pushed that pretty hard, and fair enough. He earned it. Marcus had 29 points in 62 games, which looked quieter on paper. Though even then you could see the type of player he was turning into. He wasn't finishing as much. He was on the puck a lot. He was making plays early. He looked like the kind of center whose numbers would rise once everything around him settled down. That same year mattered for another reason too. Medicine Hat won the 2025 WHL title. Liam had 10 points in 18 playoff games. So before the huge breakout season even arrived, the Twins were already learning what it looked like to play useful minutes on a winning team. That part gets lost sometimes when people go straight to the points. Then the 2025-26 season hit, and the whole thing got louder. Marcus finished with 108 points in 68 games and won the Bob Clark Trophy as the WHL's top scorer. The Tigers' announcement put him at 21 goals and 87 assists. 87 assists from a draft-eligible player in that league is not some cute side note. That number tells you exactly what kind of center he is. Liam finished second with 104 points in 68 games, and his line was 45 goals and 59 assists. He was right near the top of the league in goals, power play goals, game-winning goals, and plus-minus. same team, same line, first and second in league scoring. That doesn't happen often. It definitely doesn't happen by accident. And the split still held. Marcus is the one who seems to slow the game down half a second before everybody else catches up. He waits. He sees the lane. He pushes defenders just enough, then slides the puck into space. Liam gets there and finishes. That's a very clean way to describe it, though it also fits. The prospect reports and the team coverage have mostly said the same thing in different words. Marcus looks like the line-driving center. Liam looks like the winger who can bury the play. There's a reason that combination works. It doesn't require either one of them to fake a game they don't actually have. The international stuff points the same way. Hockey Canada had them both in Gangwon for the 2024 Youth Olympics. Medicine Hat's release on Liam's Rookie Week honor also mentioned they'd won gold with Canada White at the 2024 U17 World Challenge. Those events don't prove everything, though they matter because they show the game still works outside their usual environment. A lot of junior scorers look great in one setting. The better ones keep getting picked for more. So now they're both in the draft conversation for real. Medicine Hat's release on the final Central Scouting rankings had Liam at 20th among North American skaters and Marcus at 23rd. Earlier in the season, Marcus was sitting lower, which tells you how much ground he made up over the course of the year. Liam's name had been sitting in that range longer because the production was easier to market early. Neither one is entering this draft with Sedin level hype. That's important. Daniel and Henrik were viewed as top-end, top 3 prospects. The Rucks are not that. They're real first-round candidates, possibly late firsts. Maybe one slips into the second, depending on how teams stack the board and what they value. That's why the Sedin comparison works better as a franchise memory than as a straight draft parallel. In 1999, Brian Burke basically stole the board. Vancouver already had the 3rd pick. Burke got Chicago's 4th pick by moving Brian McCabe and a future first. Then he used that 4th and a couple 3rds to pry Tampa Bay's 1st overall pick away. Atlanta was sitting 2nd and had agreed not to take either Sedin. The Thrashers picked Patrick Stefan. Vancouver took Daniel and Henrik at 2 and 3. It was complicated, a little absurd, and it worked. That whole sequence is burned into Canucks history because the payoff was so clean. The Twins hit. They stayed. They became the face of the franchise for years. The Rucks don't need that kind of draft day robbery to end up together. That's the difference. Vancouver already has the best lottery odds and another first-round pick from Minnesota. The team could stand still and hope one brother falls into range. It could move around the late first if it really wanted both. It could decide the smarter move is to draft one and let the other go somewhere else. There are a few realistic paths here. That's what makes the Canucks angle fun. It's not built entirely on nostalgia. The picks are actually there. And you can see why fans would latch onto it now. Vancouver traded Quinn Hughes in December, and rooters framed it the right way at the time. It was a clear sign the Canucks were tilting toward a rebuild after a bad start. Once a team makes a move like that, the mood shifts. Fans stop looking for fixes and start looking for the next shape of hope. If that next draft gives them a shot at 1 premium pick plus 2 local Twins who just ran the WHL together, of course people are going to talk themselves into it. Sports markets do that. Vancouver especially does that because it has the Sedin memory sitting right there in the room. The more interesting question is what these two could become if they do end up together, whether that's in Vancouver or somewhere else. Right now, the standard for brother groups in the NHL is high. The Hughes brothers are sitting there. The Tkachuks are sitting there. If you narrow it to twins, the Sedins still own that lane, by default, because both made it and both mattered in a huge way. The Rucks haven't done any of that yet. They haven't played a pro game. They haven't dealt with the years after the draft, which is where most good junior stories start getting sorted into different piles. Still, you can see why NHL teams like the profile. One is a center who just put up 87 assists. One is a winger who scored 45. Both are 6 feet tall, which helps because nobody has to talk themselves through some size panic before getting to the rest of the report. And the chemistry is real enough that taking both would mean you're buying something that already works instead of trying to invent it later. That doesn't guarantee anything. It does matter. The strongest version of this story is still the simplest one. Two identical twins from a small town in British Columbia grew up playing together, got drafted by the same WHL team, and just finished first and second in league scoring on a contender. One sees the ice through the middle and keeps feeding it. The other gets to the scoring areas and finishes the play. They are both real NHL prospects now. Vancouver has the picks to make the old Sedin comparison feel possible in a way it wouldn't for most teams. That doesn't mean the same story is about to happen again. It means there is enough here that people inside hockey are paying attention before the draft instead of pretending it only became interesting after the fact. That's usually a good sign. And maybe that's the point to hold on to for now. The Rucks have already done the hard part junior players usually struggle with. They've moved past being a novelty and forced scouts to treat them as two actual prospects. June decides where they go. The years after that decide whether they become another good junior memory or the next NHL brother pair people keep bringing up. Vancouver hovering near the top of the lottery just gives the whole thing a little more volume. The Twins already gave it the rest.